And I will now ask our service leader to do our land acknowledgement.
We acknowledge the land and the people who belong to this land. The Muwekma Ohlone people. Our church, institutions, and homes are occupying their lands. Foothill and MacArthur Boulevards follow Ohlone trails. A large Ohlone settlement was in what is now called Trestle Glen, near the Grand Lake Theater. Other settlements were located at Holy Names College and Frog Park, near Claremont and Telegraph. We acknowledge that these lands were stolen from the Ohlone peoples, who have an ancestral relationship with this land, the plants, the animals, and the water, for millennia, continuous to this present day. Ohlone people are still here. In solidarity with all Indigenous people and their right to self-determination and justice, we commit to working towards accountability for the theft and towards being active partners in the healing of the intergenerational trauma which persists to this day. Amen.
I am back up here as the president of your Board of Trustees. This morning, I have the very happy role of announcing the hire of Reverend Laurel Liefert, who is to be our contract minister for the next program year. Reverend Laurel will be working part-time from August to June. We are delighted to have an experienced minister to support worship and to strengthen our Worship Associates program. First Unitarian Church of Oakland has long been a worship-centered congregation. The board is so pleased to have someone who can include and expand our lay participation in worship. Furthermore, Reverend Liefert is a musician herself who understands the vital role music plays in our community. We continue to have pastoral care offered by our capable ministerial support team featuring Claire Eustace as the summer pastoral care minister, along with Kevin Mann, Reverend Mary Fran, and Reverend Sarah Moldenauer Salazar. And here is Reverend Laurel to introduce herself.
Well, I am so excited at this opportunity. I know some of you old-timers, I was here in the 90s as a lay worship leader, and that was what inspired my call to ministry. So I started going to seminary in 2001, and now I'm back after 11 years in Colorado. It was a dream come true for me to be a UU minister for 11 years with a lovely congregation. And I know that there are people who knew me way back when, but I am especially looking forward to meeting those of you who have come since I've been gone. And my first service, which will be on August 27th, will be one of the key cornerstones of our time together, and it will be called Sharing Our Ministry. So I hope that a lot of you will come on that Sunday. I'm actually going to be in Malta in September. It was a trip that I planned before this opportunity came up. There's a local folk singer, actually from Canada, named Jennifer Barazon, that some of you may know, but she leads pilgrimages to Malta. So I will be gone after a couple of services, but then I'll be back and very eager to launch our year together. So thank you for your welcome, and let us begin.
Is my mic on? Okay. Now is the time in our service when we light our candles. First, the peace candle. The words come from American writer and Christian theologian Friedrich Buechner. One of the titles by which Jesus is known is the Prince of Peace, and he used the word himself in what seemed at first glance to be two radically contradictory utterances. On one occasion, he said to the disciples, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." And later on, the last time they ate together, he said to them, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you." The contradiction is resolved when you realize that for Jesus, peace seems to have meant not the absence of struggle, but the presence of love. And the next candle that we light is the Black Lives Matter candle. We light it to memorialize the Black and brown lives lost to police violence and institutional racism. In solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and for hope for a future without racism and violence. So together we say, Black Lives Matter. And the third candle we light this morning is our chalice. If you would please say the chalice lighting words with me as they appear on the screen. We light this chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. May it remind us of the divine spark in all of creation, the power of love to heal what is broken, and to be grateful for life's blessings each day.
Creator God, indifferent God, no God at all, many gods, clockwork universe, random universe, kind and encompassing nature, cold and indifferent nature, Torah, Tanakh, Mishnah, Talmud, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, St. John the Revelator, Quran, Tao Te Ching, Muhammad, Lao Tzu, Buddha, Mother Earth, Father Sky, cults, sects, denominations, Catholic, Protestant, Unitarian, folk traditions of the entire inhabited world. Sincere seekers of truth, all are worthy and all are welcome here. And the people say, "Come, let us worship together." Now, let us rise in voice and sing, "We'll Build a Land."
Welcome to Point Counterpoint. Several iterations ago, I played sing-along piano for a living, and I'm used to changing the lyrics on songs that did not stand the test of time because of sexism or misogyny or racism or violence or homophobia, the list goes on. I think that we Unitarian Universalists have done a pretty good job of altering lyrics to keep up with or even be out in front of the times. One of the first things that drew me to this congregation was our hymnal. And I'm proud of what we have done as a denomination to continue to revise it, to make it more inclusive. The chief reason why I follow a UU path is that we believe that each person is a minister. Innate in each person is the spark of the divine. We each have a ministry to share our unique gifts because of that divine spark. So saying, there is one song in our hymnal that has a phrase which always catches in my throat. And I don't sing it because to me, that phrase is antithetical to being a UU. And that's the song that we just sang. We Build a Land is a wonderful song with a vision of a wonderfully better future. If it just weren't for the anointed by God part. Some of you may not be comfortable with the God part. I'm fine with that. It's the anointing that bothers me. To me, it smacks of exclusivity, of being the elect, the chosen, the baptized, the believers. My view of history, unfortunately, says that at least as much harm as good has been done by folks who claim to be anointed by God. Indeed, people who espouse such special status are the very folks of whom I am suspicious of their motives, their possibly hidden agendas. To my way of thinking, it's the folks who act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly who are the most godly. Their way of being in the world, their compassion, their good works don't require a heavenly endorsement. Anointed by God, perhaps we might consider an alternate lyric.
I'm not going to defend anointed by God. It's indefensible. But I will defend the song because it's so extravagant. It promises so much. Its images are so ideal. We're going to build a land where the captives go free. All those who are afflicted and mourn will be cured. Garlands instead of ashes. Gladness dissolves all mourning. A promised land that can be, these are images that are beautiful, beautiful images, very ideal and grand. Of course, there's no instruction as to how to achieve these goals, which is kind of problematic to me, but we can still get high off the heady abstractions, and I like to get high, so that's a very good thing. Also, I love the way at the end of the way the music recapitulates the meaning of the words. The justice shall roll down like waters, be like a da, 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 da. I see that as a cataract both of music and words that are very well suited for each other. So I'm all for keeping the song and changing the Anointed by God lyric.
Thank you, Dick and Corliss, for your thoughts and reflections. Now is the time in our service where we get up and greet one another. Look for someone maybe you don't know, send a smile, a kind word, and please be aware of people's personal boundaries too, and consent is always good. All right, you may greet one another. Let's see what happens after this. And we can continue our wonderful conversation at coffee hour in Vinte Hall. If you will all make your way to your seats, please. And we will actually remain standing to sing the next hymn. Let It Be a Dance. Please join.
Why not? Let it be a root canal. Who needs lidocaine? I find this song almost physically painful. I don't dance, I just don't. I used to, back when Dwight Eisenhower was president. When popular dancing meant you held your partner and you did predetermined steps. Then when I was in high school, the twist came along, which for the first time made it socially acceptable for white girls to shake their booties. I did not object. Okay, back in the old days, I get it. In the old days, popular dancing was Euro-influenced. And today, popular dancing today is more Afro-influenced. That's fine with me, but still, I don't dance. A few years ago, we had an active young adult church leader here, Isabel Call. She was attending Star King. Isabel moved on, interning at Spokane, then moving to Columbus, Ohio, to be the assistant minister at the church there. The Columbus church voted to ordain her, and she asked me to play a part in the ordination. I gratefully and instantly said yes. And then I asked her, what's the theme of your ordination? And she said, let it be a dance. I was thinking, Isabel, you have 4 fused vertebrae. But okay, I'm with the program. So during the service, which was on Zoom, we were to get up and dance along to the song. Let it be a dance, sweet day. May I have this dance with you? Isabel was alone in her apartment with her cat. She got a cat toy and they danced around the apartment. It was charming. But fortunately for me, Zoom has a video mute button. I was spared. I hear people say things like, I find empowerment through movement. And I'm thinking, what does this even mean? I must be missing something. I don't know. Maybe Isabel can help me.
I will be reading the words of Isabel Call, and her piece is called Let It Be a Dance. My life is better if I understand it as a dance. It's not always graceful. Sometimes I'm plodding or stomping or stumbling or dragging along. But if I choose to plod or drag with intention, I claim my agency. When I let my life be a dance, no matter what I'm doing, I'm saying to myself and anyone listening, I am moving this way because it best expresses how I feel right now. When I move through the world as a dancer, then I can more easily find dance partners to harmonize with my whole self. Even if we're just talking on the phone or sending emails to each other. It's a metaphor. But it's also more than a metaphor, because I'm never not in my body. My ordination a couple of years ago had the theme, Let It Be a Dance. And we danced all through the ceremony, even though it was on Zoom. I invited friends and members of First UU Church of Columbus to send in a video of themselves dancing to the song. And we stitched them together into a video. Even my kitten participated. It was silly and fun and delightful. I recently led a memorial service for a man whose spouse requested we all sing the piece together. They had heard Rick Maston sing it over 40 years ago, and ever since it had been a touchstone for their relationship. Singing together was a moment of lightness in the service. But it was also deep, because every single line brought up such specific memories. I don't know what Bill will have to say, but I can guess that one complaint about the song is how sweet, almost saccharine, it can feel. Rick Maston wrote it to be mostly spoken word, accompanied by a guitar. I like it that way. No matter how you do it, I suggest you relax into the sweetness, maybe even let it be silly, but definitely feel it in your body, especially the second verse. Actually turn and spin, let your body learn to bend, and like a willow with the wind, let it be a dance.
Now is the time in our service where we remember, announce, and reflect on the people in our lives who are suffering through hard times and those who are celebrating good times. I lift up Reverend Dr. Isabel Call, who was called to be the lead minister of the UU Fellowship of Manhattan, Kansas. Isabel is the first minister to be called by the Manhattan Fellowship. I ask us to send our thoughts to Tara Miller, who last time I talked to her was in New Jersey caring for her ailing father. We hold them in our care. I also want to lift up the names of new homeowners, the Fitzhugh family. When I sound the bell, please call the names of those near your heart. Together, we say, we hold them in our care. Please join together in song as we sing Spirit of Life. The spirit of life. What is not to like about spirit of life? Spirit of life, come unto me. Isn't this the goal of every spiritual person? To connect with the great mystery of life? Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Let me replace all the callings of the world with love for all the people of the world. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, recalls our transcendentalist Emersonian roots. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, asks that we take this spiritual calling and use it to reshape the world into a beloved community where all people are treated with dignity and respect. Roots, hold me close, wings, set me free. Let me stand firm in the universal truths of the universe while soaring above worldly cares. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. What's not to like? A fine melodic statement of modern Unitarian Universalist beliefs. So I sent out emails to people, asking what songs they like and which songs they didn't like. This is a random process, unscientific, not a survey of the music ministry, just a random sample. It was late at night. I was clicking on names of people that I knew who had been around a while, knew all the songs. If you didn't get an email, don't go getting your feelings hurt. Now, I know that sometimes I am guilty of embellishing the factual accuracy of the stories that I tell, but this actually happened. Okay. This part actually happened. I gave it 48 hours. I figured anybody who's going to respond will do so in 2 days. So I sat down at my computer and made a little chart in Word, song title, name, dislike, like, made a cup of tea, and I started opening the emails. So I opened the first one. I hate spirit of life. So I opened the second one. I don't care for spirit of life. The third one referenced another song. The fourth one said, I really, really hate spirit of life. I met someone at church, talked about this, and they said, why don't we slow it down even more? Spirit of death. I think I touched a nerve here. A few words about Let It Be a Dance. I accuse myself of giving the song a very superficial interpretation as if it were about dancing. Jeff Melcher told me a story about the time he interviewed the author of the song, Rick Maston, at another Unitarian church. Rick animatedly insisted that there was an error in the hymnal. In the third verse, there are the words, let the sun shine in, let it rain, share the laughter, bear the pain. Bear the pain. B-E-A-R, the pain. As if to stuff your feelings and trauma down deep inside. Rick said it should be bear, B-A-R-E. Bear your pain. Let it out. Expose your inner self. Share your innermost thoughts with your community. Open yourself up to your friends' healing powers. It changes the whole meaning of the song for me. At that interview in the church, Rick insisted that everybody get out the hymnal and a pen and change the word in the song. Maybe sometime in the future we'll do just that. So, super informal survey. Who likes We'll Build the Land? Who doesn't like We'll Build the Land? Who likes Let It Be a Dance? Who doesn't like Let It Be a Day? Who likes Spirit of Life? Who doesn't like Spirit of Life? Who kind of likes Spirit of Life but just got tired of singing it all the time? Now, you can't help but notice that you have disagreements with the person sitting next to you and with your best friends. Music isn't the only thing we disagree on around here. It makes you wonder, why do we come to church anyway? There's lots to do on a Sunday. During football season, if you're having friends over to watch the Niners kick off at 1:05, you need to get the ribs in the soaker by 9:30 at the latest. Some people feel boxed in all week by their jobs or societal pressures, and they want to come to church and have a joyous and exuberant dancing in the aisles expression of their relation with the holy mysteries. Some people feel blown here and there, tossed around all week, and want to come to church to have a quiet, peaceful, meditative time to reconnect with their source of strength. Some like to sing, some like to dance. Some people want quiet prayers, some to mourn, some to celebrate life's blessings. How do we make this all work? St. Paul compares the body of the church to a human body. The body has many parts and they each have a job to do. You don't expect a hand to see. You don't expect a foot to smell. You don't expect a foot to hear. Every person who runs an organization, from St. Paul to Attila the Hun, knows that you need to get the right person in the right job. Some people like to sing, some dance, some play music, some like to sit and listen to music. Some like to organize events, throw parties, run classes, do gardenings, fix things. Some people like to make signs and join protests. Some just want a quiet place to be. Some like to sit in the office alone and spend hours contemplating whether this $12 expenditure belongs to budget line 6220 or 6230. Some are social justice warriors. As social justice warriors, it's important to them. Some like to ponder the theological implications of hymn 200, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God." Finance, stewardship, worship associates, pastoral care, making sure the internet works, tending the database. There are so many parts to the body of the church. If St. Paul and Attila are right, we can't expect everyone to be a social justice warrior or a finance team member or a musician or a gardener or a grant writer. But being human, we have trouble accepting that not everyone thinks like we do. JTW wants everybody to get with the program. Finance team keeps reminding anyone who will listen that every aspect of church life has a financial aspect. Stewardship wants everyone to pledge. Dancers want everybody to get up and dance. The Bible people want everybody to go home and read the Bible. The humanists want everybody to come together, come and reason together their way. So how do we possibly make this work? How do we do this? Being an academically oriented bunch, let's start by examining our terms. A quick scan through the dictionary at the DI words generally means a splitting in two. Diabetes, two things in the human system not in balance. Divorce, divide, divine. Now, differences could mean division. Division could mean separation. But diversity means variety. How do we keep our divisions from let me practice reading again. How do we keep our differences from becoming divisions? How do we keep our differences from separating us one from another? Maybe we need to step back, take a deep breath, and count to 4, and think about one of our religion's most core beliefs. We do not have to think alike to love alike. Think about the person sitting next to you, your friend across the room with whom you've broken bread many times. Do you let, or have you ever considered letting your differences divide your friendship? No. And in our church body, are we going to let our differences divide us? Will we insist that everyone think like we do? Does that mean we have to stifle our thoughts and feelings? Of course not. Friends let friends think their minds, think their thoughts and feelings, and friends listen to their friends. And Paul reminds us that when one of our friends is going down a wrong path, we don't berate them publicly. We draw them aside and talk to them gently. We cannot let our differences divide us. We need to embrace our differences. Imagine our church as a dynamic, vibrant church, fully engaged with our Oakland community. The love that binds our differences together in a celebration of diversity is what makes our church grow and our own souls grow and thrive. May it be so.
Now is the time in our service when we get to consider how much this community means to us and how we can give back to our community. If this is your first time worshiping with us, we gratefully accept the gift of your presence and your participation. Thank you for being with us. I choose to give my time and my treasure to First Unitarian Church of Oakland because this is my spiritual community. You are my spiritual community, and you are the people who I love to dance with and also to be in difference with. This is where I choose to nourish my spirit, to do the work of justice, and to celebrate the divine in all. As the plates pass this morning, I invite you to consider the importance of this church in your lives and to please give generously. Will the ushers please come forward? The morning's offering will now be received. Now, please join me in the saying of our congregational response.
Let's revisit We'll Build a Land. Reading some online commentary about this song, I realized that maybe we're not doing this song the right way. We slowed it down and made it a work for the choir. It's in 3/4 time, waltz time. It was written for a single guitar rhythm. For those of you old enough to remember Bob Dylan's first album, and I think there's some people here that qualify, you might remember how that driving guitar hammered out the words of Blowing in the Wind. This is not a campfire song. This song channels the prophets Isaiah and Amos. This song is about building beloved community. John will lead us as we sing it again, this time a little faster with a changed line or two in the chorus and a new environmentally themed verse. We'll do chorus, verse, chorus.
One of the things I realized listening to the earlier version is that you all know the melody better than I do. So if I do something that is unfamiliar to you, then you did it right. Come build a land where all of the people, filled with the Spirit, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like water, peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where the forests are fertile, where water runs and run clean and clear. And unity matters more than possessions. Come share this land, let's build it right here. Come build a land where all of the people, filled with the Spirit, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Let's face the back of the church and cast an eye at St. John the Revelator. Read this prayer for the church from the Church of Scotland. Let us pray for the church by all its names and in all its places, for its continuing usefulness as a channel of grace and hope, for its rescue from pretentiousness and pomposity, and from taking some things more seriously than is healthy. Have a good week, one and all.
That's a utility that listens for keystrokes and does macros. So that's how it is. Because it doesn't have to otherwise. Hey.
Great to see you. I miss you. It's really nice to see
Nice to be back.
Are you well?
And do something artistic instead of
Yeah,
just
you
pushing
did
the
that
buttons,
there.
you know. No,
Yeah. God, so are you well?
I'm well. Working a lot.
You're working on it.
I'm working a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't really keep up with this Sunday because I have 5 days in the job and some unpredictable days.
Oh, you don't want to work too much.
And I didn't, I was turning down Sundays.
Oh,
Then it started with this 6-day weeks.
you know, as you know, Reverend Iman just abruptly left us. And around the same time, Remy left us and you left us. And I thought, oh, not men's too.
Yeah, but that was a plan before anything else
Yeah,
happened. I gave stuff in a couple of months. I said, you know, I've got after a couple more months.
Occasionally volunteer to do this very simple job that people think is a big deal, which is forwarding this. You're really invisible, Wesley. People say, where are you? I'm just watching. I'm supposed to be in the middle of giving a 10-minute orientation.
Stephen Schneider sound. It's named after him. He's on a plaque over here. Did you see the plaque?
No, I didn't.
There's a plaque. It's a Stephen Schneider sound.
This is a joke, of course, right?
Oh, it's in recognition of his long service.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see it was this. Sure.
It is. It's just a one-time thing.
So far, yeah, you know, Susan just got another engagement today, so she has to be
Yeah,
and generally available. My name's still on that big projection.
yeah.
They're actually the wrong names are up there. Matteo's not here. Okay, whatever. I guess it's a great memorial projection slide or something.
Yeah. Well, I got if you don't mind, I have a question for you.
Thank you, sir.
That we have not gotten the recordings of any services posted to YouTube since late March.
Right, that's when I sucked to me.
Right.
That job.
And I asked Zach a week or